Joining me again on the show is the Dragon, Zack Borrego, who returns to the Fury FC cage on March 24th when he headlines Fury FC 88 against the UFC veteran Jordan Wright. How's it going today, Zack?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Glad to be here. How you doing?
Been better health-wise, but, getting back on the mends. And I went back and pulled the tape. We talked about this time last year, almost to the day. I think it was like 2 days different. Since then, you've been through four fights, going 2-2. But more impressively, your last two, not only did you win them, but they were 2 weeks apart. How's life been for the past year?
I mean, it's been good, man. I don't have no complaints, I obviously took some L's, and I really wasn't planning on that. I had a goal in mind, and unfortunately, these losses kind of derailed that a little bit. But at the same time, I feel like because of those losses, like the amount of growth that I've experienced not only in martial arts, but just kind of as a man growing up, is kind of what I needed. So I've had some little bumps in the road, but I feel now, it's been for the better. So I've been good. I'm excited to get my win back in March, and excited for what's after.
Nice. Next up, you do have the Dana White Contender Series and UFC veteran and Jordan Wright. How did this fight come together, and just how crazy has it been having 3 fights in 3 months?
Yeah, no, it's been crazy, man. So taking it back, I was supposed to fight in November of 2023, and everything was, we were good. We had a great camp. The week of, my opponent pulled out, and so it was, that obviously sucked. But what was really, kind of difficult to deal with is it was kind of getting hard to find an opponent. We were trying to squeeze in a date before the end of the year, and it just didn't seem like it was, going to work out. Fast forward a couple of weeks later, we got a short notice opportunity to fight Cameron Pressure in January in his hometown, and ever since that November date, I had kind of just stayed in camp, and it just made sense, So we agreed to it, and we took that fight, and you know when you come from fighting, I have a very active career so far. I'm fighting 4 to 5 times a year. And so when I didn't fight in November, it was like a 6 month gap of me like not having a fight. And that drove me, insane. I was training. It was, and don't get me wrong, I love training just to train, but when you have a fight, when you have a goal in mind, it just kind of makes things a little bit more easier, more smoother. It's a little bit more motivation to be in the gym. And so that's kind of like been the reason behind my activity is, I felt what it felt like to not have anything lined up, not really have anything kind of looking forward to, and almost feeling like you're forgotten a little bit. And so I don't want to feel that again. I know it's part of the game, but that's kind of been the activity. And I'm healthy. That's the main thing is I'm healthy. By the you know the way these fights have gone, I haven't taken too much damage, and so I have a good connection with the promoter, and I told him that as long as I'm healthy, you can sign me up to fight. I love to fight, and so that's what we did. I called out my shot, and after my last fight in February, I said, "Hey, I want a main event in my city," and so he obviously said that, for a main event, we're going to need to get a higher caliber of opponent, and we're just ready for that challenge. So that's how this opportunity came up.
Nice. And then, the other part of this year, and I actually caught your dad comment this, and I was like, is this really true? Is this he just playing on words? 2024 is the year of the dragon. So, like, it lines
Yeah.
up pretty well, too. So, like, what are your goals for the remainder of this year?
The biggest thing obviously is March 24th. I have a high caliber opponent in front of me. And we need to get through him first. But after we get through him, I'm treating this almost like a Contender Series shot. I know that opportunity is there, but when you have a guy like Jordan who's spent a few years in the UFC, was I think an 8 fight UFC veteran. I feel like that's my proving ground. That is my Contender Series right there. So um, I'm not really too worried about what's next. I know once I get this win, a lot of opportunities are going to open up. But one thing that I do kind of feel like is kind of lining up is, um, once I get this win, that's 3 wins in 90 days. That's insane, especially at middleweight. I can see that at other weight classes, but at middleweight, that's an insane pace. And so I think I'm going to call for a title shot if I don't get a call up. And there's another two UFC caliber level prospects that are fighting on this card too. And so, hopefully we can get that. If not, then we're going to just prepare for, whatever comes next. I think my timeline and what I'm trying to manifest, is a guy that I have a loss to, Adam Vigil, is fighting as the co-main event against another ex-UFC veteran. And so if he takes care of business, I think that's a good selling point to fight for the title, have that rematch in June or July, and then fight at the UFC, I think it's 303 for Mexican Independence Day. And hopefully, with these next 2 wins, that kind of establishes me in the UFC. And, I can get that signing and put on for Mexican Independence Day.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I was going to ask about, does this fight probably lead you to Contender Series? You kind of touched on that. But you are a middleweight. Did you apply for Tough by any chance?
We did talk about it, and I didn't. I'm not even going to sit there. I had a few people on a part of my team tell me to do it, but it just just kind of didn't, I guess, come to fruition. So unfortunately I didn't, but I know that with a couple of wins, they're always taking these last minute guys, and so I would be open to do that if that opportunity came.
There was a few names I saw pop up, and your name never hit my leak sheet, basically, so I was a little confused, and I didn't want to reach out because I know, like, during the application process, it's kind of like a don't ask, don't tell policy, because they check your socials and all that, and I just know they just released the names, and there's like one American for each weight class, which is, I get it, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
One of the next questions I have for you is, for those of you who have only seen you on Contender Series, not your best performance, because it was a setup. We could all say it was a setup. They knew what they were trying to get with Bo out of it, and you were there to try to play spoiler. Yeah. It happened to you. It happened to Donovan. It happened to everyone else he's faced so far in the UFC. Explain to everyone and reintroduce yourself to the crowd as to like why they should watch you on March 24th.
Yeah, I mean, I think first addressing, obviously the Contender Series shot. I think it was just early in my career. I was, I think 6 months at the time into my pro career. And I just, can honestly say I wasn't ready for that. And that's something that, I've had to kind of grow as a professional is, there's a lot of things that can come from opportunities like that. And that's why we took it, but at the same time, it was kind of a reality check, if you will, because I knew, after that fight that if this is the level that I need to compete on, I need to change up some things. I need to get better. And so, I feel like it worked out for the best, but, all 9 of my fights, I'm 9 fights as a professional going into my 10th fight. I've only been a pro for 2.5 years, so I have a crazy pace. I have all my wins are finishes except for one. And if you go back and watch that fight should have been finished a few times as well. So, I'm an exciting fighter. I'm a martial artist. Since I could walk, basically, I grew up in a martial arts school. And I finally feel like I'm putting things together. It's one thing to say that, and then it's one thing to actually believe it. And so I think I was saying it a little bit more before I actually believed it myself, and now I feel like the timing's just right. I feel like things are coming together. I feel like, I'm finally hitting that kind of stride that I was looking for in my pro career, in my skill development. And on top of what I was already doing, for the last 2 years, I think I'm just an exciting fighter to watch. I'm not someone that's gonna, try to edge out a judge's decision. I'm always looking for the finish. I'm always looking to entertain. I think before, like, obviously when you're in the regional scenes, you want to pick the fights that are going to challenge you, but as a prospect, you're sometimes, you're looking at the right fights. And I can honestly say as myself and my team, we've never been that. We've always said yes to everyone who's been given to us. And I think that's a credit to, I'm literally a prize fighter at heart. Like, I love to fight. I love to fight big fights. I love to kind of be the underdog a little bit and show people why they shouldn't doubt me. And so I think with all of that, I kind of just get put into, if you're a fighter, if you're a fan of the fight game, I'm your fighter to watch.
Fantastic. I know, like, when I talk to people, they only seem to know you from that one fight, and I want
Yeah,
them to, I'm trying more and more to get people to tune into Fury. Their cards keep getting better and better as well, so it's
yeah,
one of those, like, Fight Pass is like $12. Go fucking pick it up and just watch everything on there.
yeah.
But I'm gonna pass the mic to you. I know you obviously all have all your list of sponsors, your supporters, social
Mhm.
media, everything. I'm gonna give the mic to you to kind of shout everything out. Mike's all yours.
Yeah, so this camp, I'm super excited to announce that I have a lot of local sponsorships that are coming with me. The two biggest ones are Live Oak Vodka. It's a local distillery here in Texas. Um, their vodka is, I mean, I'm not saying this because I'm a sponsored fighter by them, but it is the smoothest tasting vodka I've ever tasted, and I can put that up against a lot of I was a college athlete and I drank a lot of vodka to say the least. So smoothest tasting vodka, big shout out to them. Another partnership that we're working out is I've kind of partnered up with the UTSA athletic department here. UTSA is a Division I college out of San Antonio, and we're going to be doing some big things together. And it's kind of hard in a way to say like they're a sponsor. It's more so a partnership, a collaboration, and we're just trying to bring awareness to both of our kind of uprising. UTSA has been super big with the last couple of years, especially in football. And we're both kind of coming up together, it seems like, and so it just kind of made sense to partner up. Um, One of someone that's helped me kind of establish that connection is Pat Klein's, a friend of my guy Matt Bunches. I know these are names that the people who I'm talking about know what they had to do to kind of get this done. So big shout out to them. Obviously, my gym, DKA MMA, we've been around San Antonio for the last 25 years. We have a few fighters now that are finally starting to come out. Of course, Unity MMA is kind of like my second home. Ray Rodriguez out there has been a super, helpful person, not only in martial arts, but just personal. I think the last time we talked, I wasn't, I was doing some boxing, but I've actually started going to a strict boxing coach. Matt Waters, I've been doing a lot of boxing rounds with them at Black Stallion Boxing. So big shout out to those guys, and really just everyone else, that's kind of been a tool to my career so far. I think since the last time we've talked, and really this last year, like I've been very open to going to cross training with other gyms, talking to other coaches, and just kind of picking their brain. So big thank you to everyone. This fight I'm super excited about. March 24th. You guys need to tune in to UFC Fight Pass. Will be the main event. I'm taking on a UFC veteran, someone who has a name. And like I said, I think this is my opportunity to show that I'm not, the fighter I was 6 months into my pro career when a lot of people saw me against Bo Nickel. And just tune in and see all the work that I've been putting in.
Fantastic. I said it. You said it. Zack Borrego, Jordan Wright, March 24th, live on UFC Fight Pass, headlining the Fury FC 88 card. Eric Garcia and the team, more compliments than I can ever give to everyone that's involved over there. From running the show, matchmaking the show, production could get a little better if I'm going to be a dick about anything. But outside of that, is all their cards keep getting better and better. That's the main purpose. This was one not to miss. So I'll link all your socials below. And then follow my man Zach because, he's more than just that Bo Nickel fight, damn it.